Hello, my name is Hannah. Welcome to Signing Spiritually. For this year, we are going to be following along the Bible Recap Study Plan by Tara Leigh Cobble. And I'm going to have study guides for next week's reading from the Deaf Bible app, as well as the ASL Bible Recaps, linked down in the description box below. Every week, I'm going to be posting 1, maybe 2 review videos explaining my thoughts, notes, comments, questions, and things that I was curious about whenever I was doing my reading and studying. Today, we're going to be in the book of Job, and I'm going to make 2 videos for this week because, for one, Job is my favorite book of the Bible, and we're also reading a lot. This is the first video, and I'll post the second video on Wednesday. Let's get started. Job, he was described as a blameless and upright man. He had a large family and a lot of livestock. He had 11,000 animals, which is insane. He had 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 oxen, and 500 female donkeys, as well as numerous servants. Job also was described as one of the greatest people from all of the East. Job, he continuously offered burnt sacrifices to God on the behalf of his children because he wasn't sure if they had sinned against him or cursed God in their hearts. Job also consecrated his kids, and I think that's a very good dad for taking care of his kids spiritually. That makes me think about whenever parents are praying for their children, especially whenever they become older or become adults and leave to go to college or go work. A lot of the time when children leave home, they tend to stray away from God. There are many reasons for that. I know for me personally, I felt like I was too damaged to experience God's love. I felt dirty and unworthy and impossible to be loved or accepted by God. Those were lies from Satan, but it still caused me to drift away for 3.5 years. I love that when the angels and Satan approached God, that God, he also said a similar thing, like whenever he was interacting with Adam and Cain, whenever the two of them had sinned. God simply asked them a question that he already knew the answer to. He asked Satan, "Where did you come from?" To which Satan responded that he had been wandering to and from all over the earth. And that reminded me of Cain. And God had a positive opinion about Job. Imagine, just for a second, that you were being described by the God of the universe as blameless, upright person who fears God and rejects evil. God, he described Job as a person who no one was like him. And I thought that it was really interesting that God, he recommended Job. And Satan asked him if Job truly feared God for no reason, and he asked God if he protected Job. Satan also mentioned that God had blessed Job in all of his work as well as everything that he had. Satan said that if you touch Job and destroy all that he has, he will curse you. And that made me think about the phrase, fair weather faith. It basically means when things are going really well and there aren't any issues and you have an easy life, it's not hard to trust God. However, whenever times when our faith is tested or we experience struggles, that is when it gets hard. Some people lose their faith in hard times, but some people find faith, and then other people deepen their faith. I personally experienced a lot of hard and traumatic things repeatedly from about the ages of 15 to 18. I lost one of my friends, and then exactly 2 months later, my best friend killed herself. And at the same time, I was experiencing bullying and various kinds of abuse from different people. And I was given the diagnosis of PTSD that completely disrupted my life and made it such a struggle to function and keep going. It was awful. And I deeply resonated with what Job said when he was crying out in chapter 3, verse 11. Why did I not die at birth, come out from the womb and expire? I asked God that same question many times over, and I tried to take control of my life, but God continued to keep me alive because I have a holy purpose for His plan. Now I see that. Now I know what I'm here to do. In Job chapter 2, I really related to that now a lot more, especially because this past 6 months, I've had to go to the emergency room for allergic reactions about 6 times, and 3 of those times were really serious and horrible, and I thought I might die. But fortunately I didn't, and I'm thankful to God, my husband, and my friends for supporting me and helping me through this time, because it's been really hard physically for my health as well as mentally. This past year broke me in many ways. When I was reading, it absolutely broke my heart that Job's very own wife didn't support him. She told him to curse God and die. But I know part of that reason is because she also lost everything. She was mad at God, and it looks like she might have lost her faith. Also, I want to clarify, when I'm saying losing faith, what I'm really meaning is that that person has strayed away from God, and they no longer want to be in relationship with Him. That's what I mean. Something important that I want to mention is that even though Job asked these questions of God, God still says at the end of Job chapter 2, verse 10, "In all this, Job did not sin with his lips." Job's friends, they came and they mourned with him for 7 days and 7 nights. Sometimes when people are grieving, the best thing that we can do is to just sit with them in silence. Your presence with them provides more comfort than any words, comments, or advice. They just need someone there with them in that moment. Many commenters and biblical scholars, they say that Job's friends were actually smarter when they were silent. And I noticed whenever I was reading through the chapters that his friends had some intelligent and accurate things to say about God, but some were just flat out wrong. And some of the information they had and the comments they said were wrong, especially when his friends tried to blame Job and told him that you must have done some secret sin and you deserve to be punished. Job tried to remind them that even the wicked people prosper. And so that cannot be the reason why he is experiencing these sufferings. Also, we know that God has already declared Job as upright and blameless. So I'm curious and wondering what spirit gave his friend words. And it reminded me, and it felt like the serpent in the Garden of Eden, who made Eve feel doubt about God's integrity. The spirit voice, it gave him things that looked like and felt like humans were not worthy of God or not important to him, because even God's angels are charged with wrongdoing. And Job asks his friend Eliphaz to tell him if he has spoken any injustice. Job says he will be honest in expressing his anguish and the bitterness of his soul. Job asks God why he is being targeted and why he has become a burden to God. Job also asks God why he will not excuse his transgressions. His other friend, Bildad, told Job that if Job were to become pure and righteous and asked God for mercy, that God would rescue him from his sin and restore everything that Job had lost. Job reminds his friend that man has no power compared to God. God can move mountains, cause earthquakes to happen. He created the sun and the stars, and he commands the sunrise. God created the heavens and the seas. I also noticed here that Job, he mentions Rahab and the helpers of Rahab. So I'm thinking that this story takes place after the events of the book of Joshua, as well as the collapse of the walls of Jericho. Job, he told his friends that even if he called on the Lord and God responded to him, that he didn't believe that God would truly listen to his cries because of all of his suffering. And I feel like we feel like this sometimes too. For example, when we are experiencing sufferings and struggle and we cry out to God for help, sometimes it feels like there's no response. God, it feels like he ignores us. And I felt like that a lot in high school with everything that was going on. That season of silence made me feel like I was too damaged to be loved by God. And I felt like if he really loved me, he would have rescued me from that abuse I was experiencing. And I felt even more pain later on when I went to report that abuse to the police. And they told me that I had made a dumb teenage mistake that I now regret. And the police didn't believe me and thought that I was lying because I had waited a year to report what happened. But I only waited because my dad was a police officer and he worked in that specific department, which meant that I had to work up the courage to tell my father first before I was able to go report to the police. And I really didn't want my dad to learn about the worst part of my life. Now I know that even if I do not receive justice here on earth, that I will experience that in eternity. But back then, as a broken 17-year-old, hearing those words destroyed me and my faith in being protected by the police and also being protected by God. In Job chapter 10, verse 8, it made me feel really emotional. Your hands fashioned and made me, and now you have destroyed me altogether. I have felt that so many times in my life. And Job, again, in verses 18 and 19, asked God why he was born and why he didn't die before. And I'm going to be honest here, Zophar made me so mad. His friend Job is here outpouring his heart, sharing all of his struggles, and Zophar says that God should respond to Job and punish him for the things that he is saying and expressing. And then Zophar, he says to Job, prepare your heart and cry out to God. Don't sin anymore, and you will improve and feel better and secure. And Job tells his friends that he already knows these things, and they are laughing at him and making a laughing stock of him. Job continues to explain that God is the ultimate authority for everything that happens here on earth. And Job, he tells his friends that he is not inferior to them. He still wants to approach God and argue his case with him. And Job, he says that he wishes his friends had stayed quiet because they had more wisdom in that than from their comments and advice. Job continues to express that he wants to approach God and ask him to stop his struggles and explain and tell Job what he did wrong. Job, he wants to know why he is being labeled as God's enemy. We're going to pause here for today, and I'm going to post part 2 for this reading about Job on Wednesday. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions or comments, let me know down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, you can leave a like. And if you want to continue learning and studying through the Bible this year, you can subscribe. I'm going to have the study guides linked down below in the description box. I hope to see you next week, and remember, love like God loves you. Bye. Love you.